Hello everybody and welcome to part 4 of your Game Maker Studio 2 networking tutorial. I really appreciate all the feedback and the comments that you guys have been leaving me. It really helps a lot. In this video, we're going to add usernames into the game. So basically, players will be able to see the names of other players around them. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have our client open, and the first thing we're going to do is add a new room. We'll just name this room main menu. So we want to make sure that this new room is the first thing that loads. So this room, we'll go ahead and change the background here. This room basically will not be connected to the server in any way. So this room should be before you ever connect into the game world. And this is good. This is your main menu. This is like start game, your options, exit game, whatever you want to have, you can have here. Well, what we're going to use it for first is to get the username of the player so they can input that somehow. I'll let you decide how they can input that username. I'll let that be totally up to you. We're just going to make a quick, sketchy way of doing it by adding a new object, and we'll just name this con, which stands for controller / game. And you want to make sure that this is a persistent object, which means it's going to go through all the rooms. Even when you change rooms, it's not going to be destroyed or anything. And then in our create event, we're just going to say username equals get string, and then in quotations we'll say please enter a username, comma, 2 quotations, and we'll end the code right there. Now you can make this username a global variable if you want to. I'm just going to call this variable later by saying con / game.username. You could make it global. That'd be fine too. So you could just say global.username. However your programming habits allow you to do it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and keep going. We're going to throw this object into our main menu. Con game needs to go into our instances. And there we go. So now the next thing we want to do, I guess we want to test it first, just make sure it's working. So please enter username Wizardy, click OK. Okay, it's working just fine. The next thing we want to do is actually go to our next room, which is room client, and then connect into the server. So let's go ahead and add some kind of functionality for that. Let's just add a key pressed space, and then we'll say room go to room client. And then we'll just add a draw event, and we'll say something like draw text, room, width divided by 2, room height divided by 2, and then we'll just say press space to enter game. And then we can say draw set H align, center that, draw set V align, center that. Okay, before I forget, let me make this font bigger. So this is just adding text into the game. So now basically, let's go ahead and launch our server, and then we'll launch our client. And don't forget, all this is in con game. Basically, we're just going to click space to enter into the server, and this just draws out some instructions right in the center of the screen. So enter a username, press space to enter the game, click space, and we are now in the game world. So we want to get rid of this text. So I guess if room does not equal room main menu, exit. So that should end this text when we go to room client. Let's just check and make sure. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so we've got a way to capture this username. Now we want to make sure that this username goes into the server, and we want to make sure that other players are seeing it as well. So let's keep on going here. So if we go over to our server and we go to con server, and then under our async, you remember last video, we basically put all of this stuff under network type connect. And this works. But the issue that we're going to have right now is we're creating our player. We are basically doing all of this stuff, like telling the other clients that the player has joined and getting all the other clients. But we've yet to actually really establish a connection in a way where we can even get the player's name. In other words, we're creating this player and telling all the other clients, hey, this player just joined, but we don't even know what he's named right now. So we need to basically move a lot of this code and replace it with something else and kind of move this away. So what we're going to do is basically, let me see where we can start. From var player, from where we actually create the player and plop him down in the game world, all the way down to break. We're going to take all of this. We are going to cut this. And we're going to make a script. And we're just going to call this. Well, actually, let's paste it, and then we'll see what we actually can call it. Okay. Yeah, we'll just name this. Rename network / player / join. So basically, this script replaces. I'm sorry, not replaces. But this script is going to basically do everything that we were doing right here under network type connect. And we're going to put a different script in here. So let's go to our create event in con server. And after player connect, we'll just say, let's see, player establish. Actually, yeah, just player establish. Let's put that before connect. Okay, so then in our con server under async networking, we're basically just going to, let's see, we can copy this code, put it here under network type connect, change this sock to socket, very important, make sure you do that, and change player disconnect to player establish, okay? So basically, this is going to tell the client that just connected, hey, you're on the server right now, send me some stuff, okay? So again, a player established is now our first enumerator. So we're now going to go to our client. We're going to close these rooms because those are bugging me. We're going to go to con client, and under the create event, our first enumerator needs to be player establish with a comma. Okay, make sure that these are the same. Okay, player establish, and then under receive packet, we are going to put for our first case network dot player establish break. And then let's see, what did we get from that? We got var / socket. I don't know if we're gonna need this socket. I guess we could go ahead and do this buffer u8. We can go ahead and create a global variable called global.mySocket and give it the value of socket, because let's go to our server, let's go to async networking under network type event. Again, what we're sending is player established, and we're sending only the socket of the player who just joined. We're sending that back to the client who joined. So here's the client. So basically this global mySocket, if we ever need to know our socket, instead of writing off the object player, it's just in the game. So it's as a global variable. So if we ever need the socket of your client in the client, we know with this, okay? Then we're just going to, let's see if we have anything we can copy here. Let's see, go to our player, global left press. Yeah, we're going to copy this code just so we don't have to write it all out. This is our movement code. Object player, global left pressed. We're going to go to receive packet. Under player establish, paste the code. And then let's just edit this up a little bit. Again, I'm just copy and pasting so you don't have to watch me write it all out. We can remove this con client. Anywhere you see it. because this receive packet script is running out of con client. So that's why we can delete all of that. Okay, so let's just make sure it's correct. Buffer seek, client buffer, buffer seek start 0, buffer write, client buffer, buffer U8. Okay, so we're going to change this to player establish. So you can see we can just use this same enumerator, which is right now, since the first one is the value of 0, and send it right back to the server. Then we're only going to need one of these, so I'm going to delete our mouse Y. I'm going to change this buffer from a buffer U16 to buffer _string. And then, guys, here it is. Here's the magic. Con _game dot username. Haha. That's all you do. And so basically this code right here, okay, we just received some information from the server. Well, bam, we're sending information right back to the server under the same enumerator. We're sending a buffer string, which is our username. And now we got to go back to our server. We go to receive packet. And right before move, our first case can now be network.establish. Or is it player establish. Okay. And so we can use the same enumerator. And then we're going to say var _username equals buffer read buffer _string. Okay, and now this will get the username from the client. And now what we're going to do, let's see. We're basically going to run this network player join script, which was everything we originally had in the network type connect. So under receive packets, under network player established, we can say network _player _join, and we'll put in one argument, username. Now let's open the script, network player join. Let's grab that username. So at the very top of our script, we'll say var _username equals argument 0. And then when we create our player, which is right here, var player equals instance grade depth object player, we can say _player dot username equals _username. Okay, and now let's see. What else are we going to have to do? Yeah, so now when we run these scripts like player connect and player joined, we're going to have to send our X, our Y, and also the username of these players. So remember, network connect is the object player in the client. Player joined is the object slave in the client. On both of them, we need to send the username. So it's very easy. All you have to do is we'll just copy and paste this. We'll change this buffer U16 to buffer _string, and we'll say _player dot username. Because remember, we're putting the username right here. Very cool. And then under this guy right here, so remember we're getting our slave from the socket to instance ID. Let's just go ahead and copy and paste slave.y, change the buffer U16 to buffer _string, and then slave.username. Also, one more time right here, this _player y. Where are we getting that? I wish I would have commented all this, but I think I know what's going on. So just copy and paste, and we'll just say use string or buffer string, and then we'll say _player dot username. Okay. So now we're sending the X and the Y of the clients that are, in game, but we're also sending the username. Make sure you do it as a string. That's very important. So now we go back to our client. Under network player connect, we're getting our socket, we're getting the X, we're getting the Y, and you guessed it. Copy and paste, add one more, we're getting the username. So make sure it's buffer read and it's a buffer string because we're sending a string. And a string is anything in quotations, if you don't know that. And then, so now we have the username. So /player.socket equals socket, and then /player.username equals /username. Cool. Now go to network player joined. We'll just copy and paste this. We'll say /username. Buffer /u16. We'll say buffer /string. And then slave.socket. We'll say slave.username equals /username. And that's it. Someone says, well, I thought we sent the username in 3 different scripts. Well, you're right, we did. We sent the username right here. We sent it right here. And we sent it right here. But notice where we're sending it to. We're sending it to player connect. We're sending it to player joined. And we're sending it to player joined again. So we only had to change it twice in here because we're sending it to player connect and player joined in 2 different scripts. So now our object player and our object slave have their username. Now all we have to do is draw that out. So open up our object player. We'll add a draw event. We'll say draw self. And then we'll say draw text. Let's see, x, y minus what? 48. And then we'll say username. And just for safe measure, under our create event, we'll just say username equals 2 quotations. That way we'll never run into any kind of error of like, oh, this variable's not made. And then under our object slave, we'll make a create event and say username equals nothing. And then we'll create a draw event and we'll say draw text x, y minus 48, and then username. Remember, this variable is being replaced in our script. Okay, that's it, guys. So now if we go ahead and create, well, let's test it before I create an executable. Let's run the server by clicking F5. Let's run the client. Make sure we have no errors before we proceed. Get a username, Wizardy. So here is our client. Here is our server. Click space. Wizardy. Yes, it works. Isn't that so cool? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to build an executable as a zip, and we're going to put this on my desktop here. Give it a random number. So we're going to go ahead and build this so we can have multiple clients. And we're going to extract, and we're going to go ahead and launch Wizardy space. We're in the game, in the server, we're also in the game. And then we're going to open up another client, and we will just name this Travis. Okay, so let's open up. Here's a client. Okay, space. And now we're not seeing our slaves. So let's figure out why, but we can see the names, but we can't see the slaves. So let's go to our client. Let's open up object slave, and that's why. Draw self. Hey, someone watching probably was like, hey, that's gonna happen. So let's create another executable. Okay, so anyway, it works. It works. Now that we did that little fix, we shouldn't have an issue. So let's go ahead and close these clients. Let's go ahead and extract this, and we should be good. So Wizardy, click space. Wizardy is in the house. Go ahead and open up another client, Travis, and click space. And there we go. So now we have usernames in our multiplayer online game. Isn't that awesome? Check it out. And of course, we can leave. Everything works. So we don't have username in the server, and that's an easy fix. We can open up our server, go to object player. We can make a draw event and just say draw self, and then draw text x, y minus 48, and then username. And then our create event, make sure you just say username equals nothing. Okay, so now when we close everything here, relaunch the server, launch the client, Wizardy, server, client, space, you can kind of see it. So, I mean, it's not centered, but, you know, that's an easy fix. But that's how you see the usernames in the server. Why isn't that centered? It's kind of annoying, isn't it? Is this... That's middle center. Oh, because I did this. Draw, set, H, align. Forgot I did this. Set, V, align, FA, middle. Right? Okay, let's run it again. Let's close this. Let's run our client too. Okay. This is in the server, by the way. I just added that. So that should... No. Yeah. Was dirty. That should fix the centering issue. Yeah. So here's our server. We're good. We're good. Okay, guys. I hope that this tutorial made sense. I hope it helped you. I know we're moving a lot of code around, and that can be confusing. One thing I regret not doing in the other tutorials is commenting this code better. And so maybe we can do that right now. If you want to, maybe you commented your code in our other videos. Let's go ahead and do that right now before this video is over. Maybe you want to follow along just to make sure your code is working with this code. Just because when you just look at it real quick, it's hard to see what does what. So just to recap, player connect. This is in our server under network player joined. This is all the code that we removed from the network, from our con server network type connect. This is all the code we removed from here, replaced with this guy, put it in the script. So this chunk of code right here, we'll put it in a region, hashtag region, create object player for connecting client. At the end of this block, we'll say end region. So if you don't know what regions are, this just allows you to encapsulate a group of code. So the next thing is where we send the already connected players to the player that's joining. So we'll say hashtag region, send already joined clients to connecting client. So that's this big group of code right here. Hashtag end region. And then the final chunk of code is where we send the already connected clients the new client that is joining. Okay, so hashtag region send clients already in game the client that just joined. Okay, so that's what these three blocks of code do. And of course this, just put a comment, create object player in server. After username, give player a username. And then dsmap add is where we are adding our key socket, and the value is the instance ID of our object player we just created. So add instance ID of object player to socket list or map. Okay, so that's commented, and I will put all these files, client and server, in the description of this video. So once again, I hope this helped you a lot. I know we're moving a lot of code around. That can be confusing sometimes, but hopefully you're getting something out of these videos. Please leave a comment if this is helping you. If you have any questions at all or any problems, feel free to leave a comment. Get a hold of me somehow through Twitter, my Discord, comments. You can send me a message. Any way you can get a hold of me. I'm always available to try to help people learn GameMaker, learn GML. If you haven't subscribed already, it really helps out. If you haven't liked this video and you do like it, it really helps out on the algorithm. I'm trying to get back into YouTube and post more consistently. So once again, anything that you can do, subscribe or like or comment, that really, really helps out the channel. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you next video. Peace out.